That's right. Welcome in and welcome back to a You Just Got Punked, Trolled, and Rolled at Home edition of the Always Irish Show. As always, you can find the show on YouTube. Do hit subscribe if you haven't yet. I appreciate it. Give the video a thumbs up afterwards if you approve of the content. Twitter, search bar, Always Irish or at JKZND4. Emails, alwaysirishnd@gmail.com. Audio only, anywhere you want me. What a complete and total nightmare. The absolute worst case scenario has occurred. And the worst part is it wasn't even the visiting team fully earning it. We handed Cincinnati this game at home on a silver platter, and I'm not here for it. Not a dozen years in. This cannot happen to you after a dozen years to figure out who you are, and what you want to be. 26 home game winning streak, gone. Playoff hopes, likely 99.9% gone. Humiliatingly embarrassing loss for the staff, especially, and we'll get to them. This is a super embarrassing day for them on a whole new level. This was a master's course in how to lose big games, how to lose the biggest game on your schedule 101 at home. That is the worst part. As I've said before, and I'll say it again, if Notre Dame football plays a clean, hard-fought, good ball game and loses, I'll be upset, but I can live with that. That isn't what we got. And in year 12, I have a big problem with this being what you're running out there. Okay? Congrats to Cincinnati. They were chirpy, ran their mouths, and guess what they did? Came to your place and embarrassed you in front of everybody. Everybody. So total credit to them. Ritter, he was running his mouth. Guess what? He backed it up, made the plays, won the game, got to troll all of Notre Dame Stadium, and there's not a damn thing I could do about it. There's not a damn thing you could do about it. He trolled every single one of us. He trolled all of us individually, and there's nothing you could do about it. Winners get to do that. Winners get to take their flag and fly it all around your place and tell you to keep it quiet. So good for that kid. He ran his mouth and backed it up. That's what this is all about. So good on him. Good for them. Good for them. They chirped and backed it up. Good for Cincinnati. Good for them. I asked how much fuel, personal fuel, there would be in terms of Kelly and Freeman in Cincinnati. I wasn't quite sure how much fuel was still there from that fire of Freeman leaving and Kelly leaving. And I asked before the game, how big of a motivating factor is that dynamic in this? I didn't quite know how to measure it. Cincinnati social media had a field day with this dynamic. Their official football account was mocking Freeman, saying, oh, this is your Freeman defense, not enough to beat us. They actually showed old videos. This is on Cincinnati football's own Twitter account, not a fan account, official Twitter account. They were showing old clips of Kelly at Cincinnati saying, Cincinnati's the place to be. This is where you should want to go. All trolling Brian Kelly and Marcus Freeman. And there's not a damn thing you could say or do about it. They won the game. They get to have all the fun they want. There's nothing we could do but sit there and take it with a stupid smile on your dumb face. Unbelievable. 12 years, man. 12. Oh, John, what do you bring up 12 years? This year's totally different. Erroneous. Each year is a chapter in a larger book. They're all connected. Think about it like your career. There's an arc. The longer you're doing it, do you figure you'll just plateau or get worse? No, the idea is to get better. To have this be your performance in year 12 at home in the biggest game of the year is absolutely unacceptable. No one's going to tell me it's not. It's unacceptable, and I want answers. I want to know how we got here and why we got here. I'm not even going to worry about how we're going to get out of where we're at. Let me figure out exactly why we're here first. So, they totally trolled us, totally deserved to troll us. Add all that social media stuff into the sea of red that was in our stadium, and it all adds up to an absolute disgrace that I'm embarrassed of, similar to 17 Miami, 19 at the Big House, okay? So here's the deal with the sea of red. Notre Dame people, if you want to sell your tickets, by all means, sell your tickets. I'm not telling anybody not to make money. If you want to flip your tickets and make some money, go ahead. Could you at least sell them to Notre Dame people? It's not that hard to do. Whenever I've had Notre Dame tickets to sell, they either go to people I know personally that are Notre Dame supporters, or I put them online and I'll put them on somewhere where I can interact with the people to engage and make sure they're Notre Dame people. I'm not selling my tickets to the other fan base. I put them on Chicago Craigslist and make sure that they're Notre Dame people. And 99 times out of 100, it's some nice dad that wants to bring his kid to the ball game and they like Notre Dame. I don't understand why that's so hard to do. Okay, so I'm never going to tell anybody not to sell your tickets and make money. Sell them to Notre Dame people. Okay? Sell them to Notre Dame people. That's not that hard to do. But a lot of these Notre Dame people have the season tickets. They either go for an afternoon in the park with their wine and their cheese, and they get to look at the people in the shiny helmets run around and throw the little ball around and kick it around. These people do not care about football. They go to Notre Dame games as a social thing to do, a relaxing day in the park, reconnect with their law school buddies. These people don't care about the success of Notre Dame football. They don't. They're not like me and you. They don't care. It's a social thing to do, and that's it. Okay? They don't care about football outcomes. That's the problem with the bulk of our crowd. So their little sea of red seemed a lot louder than our green out. Okay? Seeing Ritter running around our place with that Cincinnati flag, gesturing to everybody to be quiet, it makes me sick to my stomach. Yeah, they played well and won, but Notre Dame was their most valuable player, and I'll never accept that. I will never accept the fact that we handed them this game on a silver platter at our place. I refuse to accept that. Give me any excuse you want. I refuse to accept it, and I want answers of why we're a dozen years in and the offense looks completely lost and clueless. Why? Why? With everything on the line, the biggest moments of the year, we failed in spectacular fashion at home with everything to play for. When your roster has the number 12th overall talent on it and theirs has the number 52nd, explain to me how that makes sense. Tell me it's not more about what we're not doing right than what Cincinnati did do right. Number 12 overall talent the last 5 years on the roster, 52 for them. And you let them come in your house, clown you and punk you in your own ballpark. Unbelievable. I'm so personally offended by this. I'm losing my voice already. turnovers, penalties, drops, bad play calling, bad offense altogether, special teams fumble. It's a disgraceful effort from everybody but Marcus Freeman's defense. Were they perfect? Absolutely not. But I refuse to blame the defense for this outcome. Bend but don't break. You can only lean on that for so long when your offense lets you down over and over and over again. Awful look by the coaching staff. These are guys that left Cincinnati to go coach at the big boy brand name school and then turned around and got beat by the little guy that they were too good to stay there. That is the epitome of coaching humiliation and embarrassment to me. Like, when I put myself in those shoes as a Notre Dame coach that left Cincinnati for the big boy school, then they come to your place, you pay them over $1 million to do it, and they beat you, and they clown you, and they punk you, and they wave it around. It's a total embarrassment. I'm humiliated for them. Oh, they left Cincinnati, wasn't a big enough place. They wanted to go to the big boy school. Look where that got you. Look where that got you. It is a horrifically embarrassing look for the Notre Dame coaches that were too good to stay at Cincinnati, left for the greener pastures of Notre Dame. Horrible look. Horrible look for those guys. Okay? Now, as far as us fans go, if you were honest with yourself, are you surprised by this outcome? Have you been paying attention to our offense all year? I have been saying, when this is what you're working with on offense, it is like carrying around a bomb in your pocket and you just have no idea when it's going to go off. Well, guess what, folks? This was the week. Kaboom! If you are shocked or surprised by this outcome, you either haven't been paying close attention, maybe one of these just winning's all that matters, so you haven't been paying attention to how bad the offense is, or you're truly delusional, drinking the green Kool-Aid and ignore everything negative, and you only can see what you want to see. So, if you are shocked by this, you either haven't been paying attention or you're totally delusional. Those are your only options. Anybody paying attention knew that you're walking around with a grenade in your pocket with this offense because they're not good at doing anything. They have no identity. They don't know who they are. They don't even know who the leader of it is. They have no idea on offense at all. Totally clueless. Totally clueless. So, oh, well, John, if you're saying you're not shocked by this, why are you yelling so much? Just because I'm not shocked doesn't mean I'm not mad. Just because I'm not surprised doesn't mean I'm not mad. I do have some good news, though. Now we have some clarity about where this is all at. I've said before, discussing issues in which we're deficient in an ugly win is one thing. But the second that loss column has a number in it other than 0, everything changes. And here we are. Your captain, Drew White, said after the game, Notre Dame beat Notre Dame today. At home, against inferior talent, everything on the line, your win streak, your playoff dreams, all of it. And you got beat by the school your staff wanted to leave. Go for greener pastures, a bigger, better, more powerful program and brand. Well, where'd that get you Saturday? Now, the path forward gets much clearer for me. You're in developmental rebuild mode, which, if handled correctly, can also lead you to win the rest of your games this year. But you got to do the right things based off what we've seen. So, I'm hesitant to want to do this, but let's get into some of the actual gameplay. Get your barf buckets ready as we discuss the offense. Offensively, you are a complete disgrace and an embarrassment, and I want answers to the following questions. 1, what is your offensive identity this year? 2, who is your quarterback? 3, what are you good at doing? What's your bread and butter that you know you can run and gain yards? Finally, how is offensive line you this bad? Okay? The answers to those questions: have none, don't know, nothing, and beats me. Those are the answers. And those cannot be the answers of a coach who's been here a dozen years. I know people bristle at and hate the 12-year thing, but it is the overall entire point of all of this. The years are chapters in a book. They all piece together to tell a full story. They're all connected and linked. This book has 12 chapters and no major bowl wins. This is Notre Dame. That's not good enough here. All the other accolades, most wins, this and that. Your biggest bowl win can't be the Camping World Bowl. It's just not good enough here. That's not what the bar is here. Okay? I don't even know what to say sometimes. I just don't get it. Let's look at this quarterback situation. They say if you have 2 quarterbacks, you have none. Well, then what does it mean when you have 3? You have less than 0? How do you do that calculation? The shuffling of these quarterbacks in and out randomly at times where it makes no sense is desperate, weak, and pathetic. It is a weak, scared attempt to roll the dice and hope you hit on the right quarterback, play call, and you get enough blocking to actually run a successful play. This is not a real offense. It is not a recipe for sustained success at all. All this does is make you look clueless, like you're grasping for straws, throwing stuff at the wall, hoping one thing clicks. It is pathetic. This also does nothing but cause confusion and block or stop any rhythm or flow we do get. This is a disgraceful place to be in year 12. You have no idea who you are or what you are offensively. I absolutely refuse to accept that from Brian Kelly, the quarterback whisperer, and his wonder boy, Tommy Reese. I refuse to accept where we're at. I don't care what excuse you give me. This is not okay. This is not okay. You cannot be where we're at after 12 years to figure something out. Here's where my biggest point of clarity in all this comes in. It is time to stop playing this desperate, pathetic, loserish, mix and match quarterback thing now. That is over. I was fine with Cone as the starter entering the year, but things have changed on 2 fronts. 1, Jack Cone's game is not suited for a team with no offensive line. Not one that isn't decent, not an average one, not below average, horrific. Jack Cohn is not going to succeed with no offensive line. Here's number 2. As a super senior, he is not discernibly better than Pine or Buckner. Therefore, you cannot waste developmental time for those guys on him anymore. You just can't. You can't. I get why they went for Cohn, blah, 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 transfer him in, all this experience. With no offensive line, he's out of his game already. He can't run. And our quarterbacks are going to be running for their lives every single snap the whole year. Because offensive line, you can't block anybody. We'll get to them. We'll get to them. Okay. But in this dynamic with the offensive line the way it is in shambles, Cohn just can't operate. So it's over. It's over. Sorry, you're out. It's over. We tried. It isn't working for a bunch of reasons. He's out. Okay. It's not all Cohn's fault, but he is not best suited for this disaster of an offense. It is clear to me at this moment, Pine gives the best chance to win now. Why? He is the best blend of run pass we have. And that's what you need. Okay. That's what we need. Because of this offensive line, you got to maximize what the quarterback can do. That's not Cohn. It's Pine right now, and it's obvious. They seem scared to let Buckner throw the ball at all. So as far as I could see, Pine gives the team the best chance to win. And at least if Pine's out there, you're developing a quarterback for the future. Not losing with Cohn, getting nobody experience, and then we're starting over next year, game 1 in the horseshoe. What kind of plan is that? It isn't one. So, to me, the path's very clear. You go with Pine because he's your best running and passing option, and you build out an offense that suits him and what he could do best, and you focus on that, not this embarrassing mass chaos, running 3 guys in and out every different play, trying to do something different. Horrible. Horrible. I am done with the promises. I'm done with worrying about guys transferring. Play who gives you the best chance to win. That is Pine right now. Mix Buckner in a little bit if you want. It's clearly Pine. Everybody could see it. Okay? Everybody could see it. At least there's a little feel of spark and rhythm when Pine's out there. And you don't feel like if it's a pass play, we get no blocking, it's a sack. At least he could run around. Again, it's embarrassing. This is the way I have to talk about a Notre Dame offense after 12 years of an alleged quarterback guru at the helm. But here we are. How have you not been able to figure out an elite quarterback after 12 years? How? How are you at Notre Dame and you haven't had one quarterback you win because of at an elite level? Elite. Don't quote me, Ian Book, beating lower level teams. An elite guy that you beat the elite teams because of. When it matters most. When those teams are healthy and you're healthy. That's what I'm looking for. Haven't had it in a dozen years. I refuse to accept that. Point blank. I refuse to accept what has happened in the quarterback room Kelly's entire tenure. Tommy Rees. There is no game plan or whatever it is sucks. I realize he has a bad offensive line, but still, the plan is bad. You gain rhythm with Pine, go down the field, only to pull him and bring Buckner in for an automatic run play for no yards. Notre Dame kills their own rhythm. That is how little of a feel this staff has for their talent. We literally stop our own rhythm by either changing what we were doing like last week, passing it right down the field, get in the red zone, run it into a wall for nothing, kill your own drive. This week, Pine going down the field, fine, rhythm, moving the ball, bring Buckner in for nothing, kill the whole drive. Makes no sense. Makes no sense. They continue to run plays with Cone back there where he has an option to keep it, but never will because he can't run the ball. And he won't. Wasted plays, total garbage. Reese and Kelly are completely lost. They have no clue what they're working with, what this could look like, what they want it to be, who's running it, nothing. And the 3 quarterback rotation proves that. They're grasping at straws. That can't be where you're at in 12 years. Something has gone horribly wrong when that's where you're at. Now, I can't blame Reese for the bad Cone turnover on the first drive that set the tone for the whole ball game. But I'm looking at the offense all year. So I'm not going to act like it was all good until this week. No, it's been bad all along, and we've gotten away with it a few weeks. Okay? Stop doing this insanity. Simplify things. Provide stability and build around Pine. He's your best run-pass option to win now, working around the horrible offensive line. He's your best chance. Simplify it. Stop the chaos. Build something around what he's comfortable at doing. I have major questions for Jeff Quinn and who's ever involved with this offensive line. Couple sacks, 7 tackles for loss. You could say they actually played a little bit better. I did feel that there was an effort to minimize their weak points and get outside a little bit more. I noticed some of that, but it's still nowhere near good enough, and it is holding the entire program down and back. I know injuries suck. I get it. Carmody, Baker, Carell, Lugg, Patterson, Christophic, all were 4-star talents as recruits. And this is what I'm getting out of 4-star talent. This entire line was 4-star talents, and this is the results. Get real. What is going on here? Where is the development? Where is the natural raw talent to just move people? I don't get it. What is going on and what is going wrong? Are they overvalued, over-recruited, overhyped? No development, not trying hard? I want answers. This group has derailed the entire season. Their best blockers are the tight ends and Kyron Williams. It's unacceptable, and I see nobody being held accountable. Nobody. For your program strength to turn into your biggest weakness in 1 year is an unforgivable sin. Something has gone horribly wrong. So to recap, you're in year 12 with the staff who has no offensive line, no clue who the quarterback should be, or what the offense should look like. That is garbage, and I refuse to accept that that's where we are. We should just all deal with it and hope it looks better next week. When we did put something together, we made a game-changing mistake. How to lose your biggest game of the year 101. Got a penalty, dropped a pass, had a horrible turnover. I feel really bad for the running backs. They are great talents. They can't put up any numbers at all. And it's the offensive line's fault. I like seeing young receivers out there. Styles, Colsey, why not? The offense is totally lost. A total cluster with no plan. May as well let the young guys go out there and make plays. Maybe they could give you a spark. Okay? So my plan would be build an offense around Pine that he's comfortable with and try and go from there. That's, to me, the best you could do right now. But the coaching, planning, development, I got questions because none of it is close to where you need to be. None of it. Okay? Who is putting the game plans together? What is our offensive philosophy? What is our bread and butter we could do well in? What can we rely on? What is our strength? The staff has none of these answers, and I want to know why. I want to know why and how we ended up in this situation. A dozen years Kelly has had to figure out how to put together a real big boy offense, and he still hasn't done it. Also, had a dozen years to find and or develop an elite quarterback. Still waiting to see it. 12 years is 100 years in college football. If you haven't done these things in a dozen years, I have my doubts you ever will. And for anybody to say that isn't fair, I don't know how you could say that. Most guys never make it a dozen years in the same job. But if you haven't figured these things out by now, forgive me for thinking you never will. Now, defensively, was the defense perfect? No. Did they give up too many kind of big plays at bad times? Sure. But you know what? I still cannot and will not blame the defense for this loss at all. I refuse. I will not do it. This is an offensive failure. This loss is on the offense. They continually hang the defense out to dry. They can only bend without breaking so many times. I am not putting this on the defense. They played well enough to win this game, damn it. Cincinnati was up 17-0 and hardly even had to put a single drive together. They had 17 points off 4 first downs and a long play of 27 yards. The defense got stop after stop after stop, but our offense does nothing. They are not good at anything. They cannot run anything well. I refuse to put this on the defense. I just won't do it. They are playing their hearts out. Every time in this game we needed them to get off the field almost when the game was still close, they got off the field. Got a big turnover, changed everything, flipped field position. What else can you ask from the defense? This is not on them. You can't put them in the positions we did because of the offense and expect them to pitch a shutout every week. This is an offensive failure, and that offends me. J.D. Bertrand led the team in tackles, also led the team in getting burned when it mattered most, okay? So whatever. Like, yeah, I'm sure Hamilton wishes he took a different angle on that touchdown. The guy, Ritter, threw the ball, got away with it, fine. This is not on the defense, though. I refuse. I absolutely refuse. I'm not putting it on the defense. Everybody involved with the offense should feel shame and disgrace. I'm being serious. I'm being absolutely serious. That offense, everybody on the offense owes the defense an apology for putting them in these positions series after series after series. The defense kept us around. The offense doesn't do its part, period. Cincinnati ran the ball for 89 yards. This is not on them. How different would it be if we scored on the first drive and then we played good defense? We'll never know because the offense isn't good enough to do it. But I do know and I believe the defense did enough to win this ball game. They did enough to win this ball game. This is not on them. Marcus Freeman's defense, keep developing and doing what you're doing, fly around and make plays. You might have to be more aggressive than you want to moving forward because the only way we could score is a pick six. So you might have to be ultra aggressive, take chances because it seems to me our best offense might be when you guys intercept the ball or pick up a fumble. Okay? So, yes, the defense gave up some clutch plays at bad times, but the offense hung them out to dry. Not their fault. This loss is all on the coaching staff and offense, period. Special teams. Oh, return kicks, return kicks, return kicks. All John wants. And then you drop one. At the worst possible time, you drop one. If you caught one and can run it back for a touchdown last week, I need to be able to count on you to catch one in the biggest game of the year with everything riding on it. They missed a bunch of field goals, keeping us in the game, give us hope, only for the offense to fail us again. So, overall, where do you go from here, you ask? Defense, keep being the defense. Keep getting better under this scheme. I see the light at the Marcus Freeman factor tunnel. I like a lot of what they're doing on defense. Keep up the good work. Keep developing. I'm sorry you guys have to eat the shame of this offensive loss. On the offense, tough questions need to be asked about planning, personnel, effort, development, fundamentals. Everybody talks about accountability, but what does it actually look like? Who is being held responsible for how bad we look? Who and how? I say Pine is the guy for now. Build a plan around him. Pray your offensive line doesn't get him decapitated. Games like this, 12 years in at home, are why people question Brian Kelly and Tommy Rees. It can't look like this. John, lots of teams take a step back or regress or, have a down year. Fine. I'm a lot more open to it when the regression is coming off of winning something. There is no respite for regression coming off Camping Bowl wins. Your LSU win a title and regress? I could live with that. Ohio State, you won a title the last handful of years, regressed a little bit, I could live with that. Clemson won a couple, regressed a little bit, I could live with that. You don't get to win nothing and regress from that. That's my problem. This is quite frankly not good enough for a year 12 performance at home with everything on the line. This was an embarrassing humiliation in South Bend. The scene of all that red, how much louder they were than us, waving the flag around afterwards, telling us to be quiet, all the social media trolling, we deserve every bit of it. I don't blame Cincinnati at all. We deserve every bit of it. This was completely unacceptable. So now, since you blew this, now you have no choice. You're in development mode now. So run out there, Pine. If you want to build in Buckner, fine. Simplify the chaos. Build something just for Pine, what he does best. Work around the offensive line, whatever you got to do. That's the best you could do. But I'm looking for big scale philosophical answers to these questions. There is nothing anybody's going to tell me that is going to make me say that it's acceptable what I'm seeing on the offensive side of the ball. It is a joke. The staff is clueless and has no idea what to run, what to put together at all. At all. That can't be where you're at this year. Bitterly disappointed, totally humiliating and embarrassing. I'm distraught emotionally over it. What you're going to get next week, who knows? Who knows? I mean, you drop a turd like this, anything's possible any week. So we will revisit in a couple days. Maybe I'll be calmed down a little bit. But this was a total disgrace, top to bottom.